there, little brown girl, can you do one last thing for me?
Hey everybody, this is Dominique with Black Girl Reviews, and I am back with another The Streets Are Talking. And what are they talking about, honey? What are they talking about? Well, y'all already know if y'all don't know. Mainly this is for the people who don't know, but y'all can still watch it if you do know. It's about Keith Lee. For the people who don't know who Keith Lee is, like my mama, Keith Lee is a food reviewer, blogger, TikToker type person. He pretty much goes to different restaurants and he reviews their food and lets us know and rates it by, between 0 and 10. He has millions of followers on TikTok, which makes him a celebrity blogger, TikToker, celebrity. Like in this world, in 2023, for the people who don't know, like my mother, it doesn't take much to become a celebrity in most people's eyes. Okay, all you need is millions of followers, especially if they're not bots and they're actually real human beings. Like Keith Lee, he has real people following him. So when he says something tastes good and he enjoys it, that gives the restaurant free exposure, and which causes a mass of people to show up to that restaurant at that time or the day after. Or most restaurants that Keith Lee says taste good sees a boost in sales, or they went from barely being open to just barely can keep food, in supply for all of the orders that they are accumulating due to Keith Lee's positive review. For those who don't know, I am a food blogger on Instagram. That was my first start as Black Girl Reviews. And I've done that for about since 2018-ish, 17, 18. And I got about 4,000 followers on Instagram, but it's not to the level of Keith Lee. But I also do reviews and tell people if I like it or not, or pretty much whatever. But typically, I tend to not do any bad reviews. If I don't like the place, I just don't review it because it takes time and effort, especially now that Instagram has become more of a video-based platform, to edit a review on a restaurant that I don't even like. So I tend to not even bother reviewing restaurants that I didn't like. But Keith Lee keeps it real, and he does both good and bad reviews, pretty much. Recently, he's been on a food tour where he's going to different cities and asking his millions of followers to give him suggestions on where he should eat at. He's been to Atlanta. He's been to New York. He's been to Detroit, I think. He went to New Orleans. And now he's in Atlanta. Well, he was in Atlanta this past weekend or so. And he brought his family to Atlanta. And normally when he gets I guess when he has his family with him, he typically gets his family to go get the food for him so he can give an honest review on the customer service and the food as well. His family tells them how they were treated in the restaurant, and then they eat the food, and then he gives his rating, pretty much, because he feels like I'd rather my family go in so they can get an honest, experience on the restaurant, and then I can let y'all know how I like the food or not. Okay. So apparently in Atlanta, there is a lot of restaurants that have a lot of rules and stipulations on what you can and cannot do. Okay. Especially, I already said, but Black owned restaurants. Okay. Most of the restaurants that he was suggested to go try out were Black owned restaurants. Okay. One in particular was the Real Milk and Honey restaurant. That was one of the first reviews that he did in Atlanta where he didn't have food in his hands. That wasn't the first kind of not negative review because he did go to Atlanta Breakfast Club and he talked about how they gave him they gave him a dry biscuit and they was like, where the jelly, where the butter? They was like, oh, his family in the background like, oh, they were charging $1 for a little container of butter like this. He was like, $1? The tub of butter is like $3. Why would I pay $1 for a little scoop of butter? So they thought that was crazy. But at least he had food. He was eating it. They was able to order it to go, and they were eating it. And he, reviewed it. Some stuff was good, some stuff was bad. Not bad, but it wasn't the best. But when he went to the Real Milk and Honey, he said that he tried to call in ahead to put in a to-go order. I think they wasn't answering. He tried to do DoorDash, and that was closed down temporarily. And then once they got to the restaurant, his family was told that they were closed early due to cleaning or something to that nature. But Keith also said that there were people in there getting food, so he was a little confused about what they meant by it was just cleaning or whatever. But that was his honest review, and he was just saying, don't leave them bad reviews. That was just my experience. If you want to experience it yourself, go right ahead and go and experience it, right? Well, the owners of the Real Milk and Honey got wind of Keith Lee's review, and also, so one of the things that went viral for the Real Milk and Honey was their house rules, okay? So not only did Keith Lee's review of him not getting any food went viral, their house rules went viral as well during the same day, okay? So people was more getting on them about the house rules than they were about Keith Lee's review about not him getting food. Okay, I'm gonna go over the house rules because a lot of Black-owned establishments have house rules. Even the Turkey Leg Hut in Houston, Texas, have house rules. Okay, you can't wear this, you can't wear that, you can't just a whole bunch of different things that they have on their list. But I'm gonna read real quick what the Real Milk and Honey house rules are. Okay, number 1, we guarantee great food. Everything else is left to chance. What? We try our hardest though. We really do. That's number 1. So we can only give you great food. Anything else, good service, good vibes, good atmosphere, good management, anything other than that, we can't help you on that. We it's left to chance, like number they 2. Say. We do not provide individual checks. However, we do allow up to 3 forms of payments. Okay, that's not too big on, that's not too difficult. A lot of restaurants are lazy these days and they don't want to split up things, and their servers is not capable of keeping track of who ate what and what was what. So they rather just be like, okay, y'all just split this one large check instead of keeping track of their customers. Number 3, 18% gratuity added to parties of 5 or more, or checks larger than $75. Knowing this location, knowing this food, I haven't even looked at the menu, but they gonna make me want to look up the menu because 80% gratuity on a check larger than $75. That can be a table of 3. That could be a table of 2. Okay? That could be a table of 2. Me and my husband spent more than $75 on dinner before. Just me and him. Okay? So that is crazy. You gonna add gratuity just because it's more than $75? And then y'all remember that parties of 5 situation. Okay? Number 4, no modifications to any of the menu items. If you have food allergies, please choose another item without the allergen. Don't come over here talking about you don't want no cheese on your hamburger, because it ain't about to happen, because this is a cheese burger. That's what I'm getting. Number 5, be nice. I gotta be nice, but all you can do is provide good food, and everything else is up to chance. But I gotta be nice. After you charge me 18% gratuity for a check that was $75 or more. Number 6, no reservations unless you're Barack Obama. Hey, there's exceptions to every rule. Ha 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 ha. Or if you Keith Lee, because Keith Lee, I don't know if I said this, they told his family when they walked in that they were closed for cleaning. But then when he walked in, it was like, oh yeah, we can serve you. We can serve you. So you don't even have to be Barack Obama. Number 7, no table hibernation. 90-minute max, others have to eat too. So 90-minute max, others have to eat too. Somebody that went to the Milk and Honey did their experience on the Milk and Honey, other than Keith Lee, a regular degular person. And they said that you get there, you get your table, it takes the server forever to take your order. Then it takes the kitchen forever to cook your order. By the time you get your meal, it's already 60 minutes in. Then you got a few minutes to eat, get your check, pay your check, your one check, because you gotta, they don't do no splits. Your one check, give it to the waiter. The waiter gotta process 4-5 cards, then give it back to you. You sign it, and then get up in 90 minutes. Number 8, if we prepare your selected items to our menu specifications, we will not remove the item from your bill. Our entrees are not samples. Thanks. So pretty much, if you receive the item that you ordered and there's nothing wrong with the item, you just don't like it, you're still going to pay for it. You can't say, I took 2 bites of this and I just can't finish it. I can't eat it. They're not going to take it off your bill. They might take it away from your face, but you're still going to pay for it because you ordered it and they didn't cook it wrong. Allegedly. Number 9, no parties larger than 4 on days ending with a Y. We're a small place, and when we get busy, large groups are hard to accommodate. We do not push tables together. So they don't do parties larger than 4 on days ending with a Y, which is every day. So why on number 3, you were saying 18% gratuity added to parties of 5 or more, but you don't do parties bigger than 4? Did anybody proofread this? Did anybody say that don't really make sense? Number 10, we have no waiting area inside. Keep in mind, if on the wait list, you can receive a text when your table is ready. Naps in your car are fine. So they don't have no waiting area. You gotta go out to your car and take it. They think that it's gonna take that long for you to get a table, that you might even just take a nap in your car, and that's fine. That's fine with us. Go take a nap. Go take a nap in your car. Go right ahead. And then, in a reminder, remember, this is supposed to be fun. What's supposed to be fun? That y'all not accommodating? That the only thing you can provide is good food and that's it? No wait, no reservation unless you're Obama or Keith Lee. or any other celebrity in Atlanta. Anyways, they go viral because of not only Keith Lee, but people doing their research on the restaurant and they saw that list of rules, pretty much. In response, the owners of the Real Milk and Honey did this video.
Did you see this Keith Lee video about the Real Milk and Honey?
And who is this Keith Lee?
Daddy, you don't know Keith Lee?
Yeah.
No.
And it also had a caption. I'm just put up here. I'm not gonna read it because it's pointless. But pretty much the caption pretty much was like, "Oh, shout out to Keith Lee. You know, no love lost. Oh, you know, the rule." Like, y'all can pause it and read it because it was stupid. But in the video, they asking the dad, "Do you know who Keith Lee is?" I guess the dad is the owner, and he's like, "No." But in the caption, y'all adding him and y'all shouting him out and like backhanded complimenting him pretty much in your caption. So then that started another conversation on how the owners of black establishments really just don't care. Okay? I'm flashing different tweets and how, you know, they went viral. Right after that, he went to the Old Lady Gang, which is Kandi Burruss Tucker's restaurant from Real Housewives of Atlanta. He sends his wife and family in. They tell them it's gonna be a 2-minute wait. Once again, another restaurant that don't have call-ins, don't do to-go orders at all. At all. Not, oh, we only do to-go orders when you walk in, but on the weekends, they, according to Kandi, they don't do to-go orders at all on the weekends. So they tell his family it's a 2-minute wait, 2-hour wait. Keith Lee goes in and they were like, "Oh, Keith Lee, come on. We got a table right over here. Table 8. Y'all know how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a table right over here." And Keith was like, "Okay, but when my family came in here, why you told them that there was no tables available?" And she said, "Oh, right before they came in, we called a party of 8, but they wasn't here to collect their table." Mind you, another YouTuber right after the incident was pretty much talking about the Old Lady Gang. And this is before Keith Lee did his review on the Old Lady Gang. She was just talking about how her mom really loves Old Lady Gang chicken. But when she went to the Old Lady Gang, which she actually lives in Atlanta, she went to the Old Lady Gang and they told her pretty much the same thing, a 2-hour wait. Then she looked around and saw all these empty tables. And she was like, "Why is it a 2-hour wait when y'all have all these empty tables everywhere?" And she was like, "Oh, we're low on staff." I gotta wait 2 hours for some chicken, some salty chicken, allegedly, greens, and some macaroni and cheese because y'all short on staff. So they left and they went to a white establishment, got set right away, and enjoyed their food. That was her words, not mine. Okay, I never been to Old Lady Gang. I don't know. So then Keith Lee decides to leave and he talks about his experience at the Old Lady Gang. Kandi Burruss does a response. I guess she saw the reaction to the Milk and Honey people and how bad their response was and how they got towed up. So she decided to do a response, and this is what she said.
It's your girl Kandi, and I'm about to speak on it. No, I'm joking. I'm not about to speak on it. I really just wanted to say I do appreciate Keith Lee for stopping by our restaurant and trying to show us love. It is very unfortunate that we couldn't serve him and his family. We would have loved to, okay? But he's right. We don't take to-go orders on the weekends, and the simple reason is because we do love and appreciate the people who come and support our restaurant. On the weekends, we get a lot of community support, people in our city that show up for us, as well as a lot of people from out of town. So with that being said, we don't want to overwhelm our kitchen by having to, have such long times for the people who are actually at the restaurant, plus having to do to-go orders, because obviously that would make the wait times even longer. So that's the reason for that. For those of you, I saw a couple people was like, why wouldn't they take to-go orders? Well, that's why. Anyway, with that, outside of that, I want to say thanks to Keith for trying to even show up to our restaurant and show us love. Thanks for trying to bring your family by, and maybe next time we'll still get a chance to serve you. Okay. All right. Oh, and much love to our hostess. When I listened back to the video, I felt like she was being very polite. What she said to us was that basically when she called the names on the list before him or before his family, that the people didn't show up, which happens sometimes. Sometimes people put their name on the list and they don't.
All right. So y'all saw what Candy had to say about Keith Lee in his review. Now, I don't know. Like, I just feel like instead of making excuses on why you can't, like, let's for example, you can't do to-go orders on the weekend because your kitchen will get overwhelmed. How about you get better kitchen staff? How about you get better waiter staff? How about you upgrade your staff instead of trying to babysit them and coddle them by saying, okay, well, since y'all can't keep up with just the few orders, the few tables that are seated in here, because clearly I can't sit the whole restaurant at once or it's going to go downhill. One, or we don't have enough staff to even serve all these people. I'll just say that we can't do no to-go orders because y'all just get so overwhelmed. Okay, I worked in restaurants and I worked in established chain restaurants like Chili's, if you know Razzoos in Houston, Razzoos. And these places get very busy on the weekends, especially around graduation time, around like certain times of the year, and on the weekends, period. They have a wait list all the time on the weekends. Like, believe it or not, people still go to Chili's and they be waiting in line, like waiting on the wait list to be at Chili's. Okay. So I've been to places where there is more than enough staff, but of course, every table is taken, but people still have to wait to get seated because it's not that they don't have enough staff, and it's not that the kitchen's getting overwhelmed, it's just that every table is seated. So the fact that you can't even sit everybody because you're understaffed, your kitchen can't keep up because you're understaffed. I just don't get it, Candy. And the excuse you made it's just an excuse. Like, you have to do better. You have to grow. You have to think big when you making these restaurants. Y'all can't just be thinking, oh, well, people don't want to, we're just not going to do to-go orders on the weekend because y'all just get overwhelmed. No. So, after that, pretty much it just blew up. The whole Keith Lee being in Atlanta just blew up. I'm just post a few things that happened right next to me. But even Kevin on stage said something, and I loved his point of view. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Okay, this is the one thing I want to say about Keith Lee that I hadn't seen nobody say yet. Here's why it's hard to get him to review your food good. Because you would have to treat everybody the same. You don't know when he's coming. He ain't gonna come in and you're like, oh, Keith, let's treat him right. That don't work. That backfires. And the people he's sending in for the food, he don't never show them on the videos. So in order to treat him well, you would have to treat every customer well. And well, that's just gonna take too much doggone time. It's easy to treat celebs well when they come in. We celebs, we on our way, treat us different. That's easy. But you try to do that to Keith, and it backfired. He like the Joker right now. You trying to bribe him? He's like, nah, man, I don't want your money. I want to pay for the food, and I want to be treated normal. People are like, what? This ain't how celebrity works. Let me treat you different. And then the video go crazy because of that. And the restaurants, they not finna treat everybody well. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay, granted, I agree with everything Kev on stage said. But of course, not everybody agreed. Here comes Joe Budden in his podcast, and this is what he had to say.
I want to insert in here that, that's really noble and commendable that Keith Lee wants to be treated like a normal person when he goes out because the paying customer. I don't want to live in a world where we are taking preferential treatment off of the table.
Especially at restaurants.
Not me neither.
Yeah,
not me neither.
When I walk in the door and it's a 2-hour wait, I want somebody to be like, oh shit, Joe, hold up real quick, 2 minutes. Hey, bust that table down. Hey, family of 8, wait outside in your car. Joe is here. Like, I want that.
I ain't gonna lie. I like
Keith
that.
Lee talking about something. Hey, how were you able to get us a table so fast in 5 minutes when my family was just here and it was an hour wait? And then they said some obvious lies, some bullshit. Like, oh, nobody came up when we called the names. Here go Keith Lee. You know what, on second thought.
So pretty much you can see that Joe Budden, he doesn't mind the special treatment. He doesn't mind it at all because Keith Lee felt like, I'm not a celebrity, I'm not famous, I'm just a food critic, food blogger. I don't want special treatment. I want to be treated just like how my mom and my wife and my family will be treated. I want to get the real authentic experience. And I agree, like, it's plenty of times where, yes, I don't have a lot of followers like Keith Lee, but I have enough to be able to just be like, let me hit up the restaurants and see what I can get and the special treatment I can get for saying that I'm a food blogger in Houston with a good amount of following. But I don't like to do that because I want to see how you truly going to treat me as a customer in your establishment. I want to see, because the people who was following me, they don't have special treatment. They don't get special perks for being who they are. So I want to be able to be treated the same way. I'm going to pay for my food, I'm going to eat my food, and I want to go. Like, that's it. So pretty much once that happened, Keith Lee and the restaurant Milk and Honey and a few other people started getting death threats, okay, over the fact that he had a not so positive review for their restaurant. And I feel like that is beyond crazy, like beyond crazy. I'm gonna let him explain to you what was going on.
Every restaurant that me and my family go to, we were either A, invited by the restaurant themselves, or B, was told about the restaurant 100+ times. From locals, from people who mention me, from people who email me, DM me. 99% of the time, I never go to a random restaurant. With that being said, my opinion was asked for. So many narratives being pushed, and it's insane to me. But let's be honest, what else do you want from me? If I go to a bunch of restaurants and have a string of good experiences, then I'm being too nice, I'm lying, the narrative is being pushed that my eye roll is fake, and I'm lying just to help people. Then on the same hand, if I go to 2 or 3 restaurants where I don't have the best experience, now I'm tearing down businesses, now I'm being mean, now I need to shut up, I need to mind my business, I need to sit down. Again, I can't win for losing. I understand everybody gonna have an opinion on the situation. You can disagree with me, you cannot like what I say. Completely understand, I'm okay with that. But when my safety and my family safety start coming into play, that's where I draw the line at. But what can't happen is when my family or the restaurants or anybody's safety start coming into play. It's absolutely overboard.
Especially when I was asked to give my opinion. Because you telling me my opinion only matter if it's positive. Because if it's positive, you got my face plastered on the wall and you saying Keith Lee been here. But if it's negative, I need to sit down somewhere and you don't know who I am. That's crazy to me.
There was so much positive that happened in Atlanta that was shunned by the negative. There was so many restaurants we was blessed enough to help. We went to an array of restaurants like we always do at every city. I'm gonna be 100% transparent, 100% candid. Me and my family will postpone touring if other cities gonna be like this. Every review not gonna be the best. I'm gonna be 100% honest. If you want me to come, please understand, I will be honest. I don't mean no harm. I don't have no malicious intent. I mean that, and when I say it, I mean it. People be like, well, you know what you're doing. You know if you give a bad review, people gonna come and flood it with hate comments. What else do you want me to do? I'm telling people not to go and leave hate comments. I'm telling people not to leave negative comments. I'm telling people make their own opinions. You want me to lie and say I had a good experience, or you want me to only post the videos when I have a positive experience? Then all of the videos I post is only gonna be positive experience. Then the narrative is gonna be pushing I'm only trying to be positive, and we're gonna end up in the same situation.
And on top of that, I think something that's getting lost in translation. When that happens, the restaurants that we are blessed enough to help won't be helped in the same manner because people won't show up in the same way because my reviews would be inauthentic. One of the reasons people show up the way they do is because they know I'm being honest and I'm giving my personal opinion and my personal perspective on the situation. But if I don't do that anymore, it won't be the 3 or 4 hour wait times. And
Okay, so as you can see, Keith Lee and his family was getting death threats. Some of the restaurants getting death threats. People was leaving bad reviews, even though they never been to Milk and Honey or Old Lady Gang. They was leaving bad reviews saying that they hate the restaurant because, especially Milk and Honey, because of what the owners responded back to, whatever. I just find it very crazy that people would want to send death threats to restaurants or Keith Lee and his family due to the fact that he didn't like the experience that he had at that restaurant. And I'm just thinking, like, what if that was me? You know what I mean? Like, that is so crazy to me. And it kind of makes me think, like, this is why I don't post too many negative reviews. I know I did one negative review on a restaurant and they responded to my negative review and they pretty much was like, oh, thanks for the backhanded compliment or something like that, to that nature. And I was like, now if I would have said I love this restaurant, they would have probably never responded to my review at all. They would have just left me where I was at. They would never responded or nothing. They probably would never reposted me or nothing. But the fact that I said something negative about their place, they responded. It was like, oh, thanks for coming, even though you gave us a backhanded compliment or something like that, to that nature. And I was like taken aback, like, wow, like, okay. So I understand how he feels, and I hope that, you know, people take this situation, not only the restaurants, but also other food bloggers take this and see the effect that it has on other people. He's even willing to stop doing tours around the cities, different cities, because of this one city experience. And it's crazy that this situation blew up to this magnitude, because the other cities that he went to barely got any coverage as far as social media and the media is concerned. This whole situation was on the Rolling Stone. Like, look at him. He's on the Rolling Stone after this situation. And I looked it up, and he's on CNN too. I wish I took a screenshot, but he's on CNN too. Like, this has really blown up to a magnitude where I hope this makes a change in our food community, because these rules and regulations, or we don't do call-ins, but when you get here, we don't even do to-go orders. We don't do this. We don't do that. We can only provide good food, and that's it. Everything else is left up to chance. What? But anyway, that's all I got to say about the situation. Okay, I wasn't going to really speak on this, but since people are still talking about it on Twitter as of today, and I'm a food blogger myself, I felt like I wanted to say something regarding this situation, because food bloggers, they get acknowledged, but they don't get too acknowledged for the positive things that they say about restaurants. But once you say something negative, that can overshadow everything you have said positive about other restaurants. And I don't like that. I don't like that. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Ugh. You know. But whatever. Please let me know how you feel down below. Are you on the restaurant side, like Candy side, the Milk and Honey side? Are you surprised at how Milk and Honey responded to Keith Lee's review on their restaurant? Like, what? But like and subscribe, comment and share my video with your friends and family, your coworkers, anybody who haven't seen or don't know what's going on. I think I did a good job at piecing the puzzles together for people who are not on social media and keeping up with this situation. Let me know down below how you feel about it. Like, let me know. I am curious to see what other people are saying and how you guys feel on YouTube about this Keith Lee versus Atlanta food restaurant scene. All right, you guys, I'll see y'all in the next The Streets Are Talking.
I hope you hear me, little brown girl.